Hello, and welcome to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. This is the second Ironheart Watching Now that we're doing. It's all about the second half of the season, which is just 3 episodes, which is 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to be talking all about all the ups and downs and the roundabouts and iron thing, men, women, people.
Sure.
Sure.
Whatever you say there, bud.
You've got two of us today. You've got Tom.
Ayo.
And you've got me. I'm Ian. I'm here. Not making a lot of sense.
That was nice. Clear as anything.
It's really late at night, and I've got so much energy still. It's gonna be great.
Calm down.
So much energy. You
So,
are the you are the embodiment of excitement.
um,
And for good reason.
and for good reason. All right, I'm gonna stop being creepy now. Thank you. Let's go into our non-spoiler reviews of these 3 episodes. Tom, what did you think?
Whee! I Compared to the first year, I kind of enjoyed these a lot more. I think for an end of the Disney Plus series, I think they actually stuck the landing this time. They came back on a lot of the promises they made at the beginning of the series and actually like resolved a lot of stuff. And the way that certain character arcs ended, I was like, damn, this is different. I kind of don't hate this. I do still wish that it might have been a bit longer so we could flesh out some of the storylines a bit more because a lot of it did feel rushed, especially towards the end with how certain characters reacted to things, and then they just sort of like the next scene they're in, like, oh, you know, I'm cool now. It's like, but yeah, it's had some decently emotional moments. Yeah, overall, I think they didn't balls up the landing.
Yeah, 100%. They fucking stuck the landing. That was the words that I wanted to say, and you got there before me, but I'm going to echo them anyway. They stuck the landing. This is quietly, and it's very quiet because no one's fucking watching this show, apparently. This is quietly one of the best Disney Plus Marvel shows out there.
It's
It's
definitely up
probably
there.
in the top 3 or 4. It's probably in the top three or
Ooh,
four. I mean, obviously Loki's above it on the hush hush because nobody's watching it. One of the best Marvel shows out there. I really like some of the decisions that they make. I really like some of the different hero arc that we get, which we touched on a little bit last week and continued into this week. It's fucking great. We didn't get a stupid CGI villain at the end, not really, and we got some really good character moments, like really good character moments. And let's just shout out right here that Dominique Thorne put in a fucking banger performance in this
hmm
show. Like
yeah,
the acting in general was really good, but Dominique Thorne in specifically, I just want to shout out because my word, some of the work that she was doing in this, I really, really enjoyed it. This show. It has some issues. It's not perfect. No stretch in the imagination, but like from a consistency basis, this is right up there with all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows that people crow about. And, and I'm not apologizing for that opinion because that I just think that's true. I just think it's true. I wish more people had seen this.
well, there's still time for word of mouth to get over uh the rhetoric that has been following this series since it was just announced. The rhetoric I'm talking about is the racist one.
Yeah, the racism and sexism.
Yeah, to be fair, there are, like you said, there are critiques of the series. Um, and like if you watched it and didn't like it, or you just saw a trailer like, not for me, that's completely fine. That's all deja vu. However, if people just went, "Pff, women, pff, people of color, there you'll go and work. You're a horrible person and you suck.
Suck. You
Agree. 100%
And
agree.
that's all we'll talk about on that little tidbit because it's not worth the oxygen. Anyway.
Anyway, should we get into spoilers?
Yee.
Let's get into the spoilers.
Spoilers.
Let's go. Let's go for the thing that everybody wants to hear about first. We got Mephisto, motherfuckers! In this series, this 6 episode series that everyone thought they were going to send out to die, that nobody started watching, they brought out the guy that everybody's been waiting for a very, very long time. They did it, and we saw it, and you had to see the clips on Twitter instead of actually watching the show.
Is
You
this the
thought you were gonna
grandstanding?
get it. You thought you were gonna get it from WandaVision. You thought you were gonna get it from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You thought you were gonna get it from Agatha all along, but you didn't. You didn't. You only got one mention. You only got one mention. And now we got it in Ironheart. Ah, get stuffed.
I don't know what I expected when you said before we started recording that I'm gonna grandstand for a bit. I thought like you maybe just like super excited or just in your face. I didn't expect that.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I grandstanded for a bit.
Yeah,
Suckers.
fair enough. Okay. But yes, we do have Mephisto played by Sacha Baron Cohen,
Yes.
who I think did really well. And I liked like how he also had the two different like what three different accents depending on when he showed up. Yeah, look, to be fair, over the past those the series you mentioned where everyone's saying Mephisto, Mephisto, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why everyone wants him. And I would have thought he'd show up in a magical series. And but I kind of liked the fact that he has shown up now because I've learned he is the devil from the Bible.
Hmm.
Um, and I like how one, they're merging the tech and magic aspects of the MCU together with this because Riri is very tech and he's magic, but also how it's just showing people just making deals with the devil. Because
Yeah.
if they were magic, they would know about him and be like, I ain't trusting that cut. Not gonna trust him. But Riri don't know who he is, and maybe she wants something. I don't know. I just found that dynamic of having the devil an interesting spanner in the works for this show.
Look, there's been a lot of people online that saying I don't understand why Mephisto would turn up in an Ironheart show because she's legitimately generally doesn't have anything to do with magic, but she's fighting the Hood. At the end of the day, she's fighting the Hood. The Hood has got loads of stuff to do with magic. They did us a little bit of a swerve where I think Zelma had drawn a picture of
Dormo.
Dormammu and saying, yeah, it's obviously doing Dormammu's having this deal with the Hood, so that's where he's getting this magic. But it's actually Mephisto. And with the themes of this show, Mephisto is the perfect choice for this show. This whole season has been about Riri doing sc scrupulous things to get what she wants. She has made 2 deals with the devil, not obviously the ending, which we'll go into, but she'd already done that. Well, let's go 3 actually. She's done loads of deals with the devils in college in MIT, got chucked out. Like she literally did deals with students trying to get their
Money.
like homework done and stuff. Then she does a deal with Parker to get money for her suit. It's another deal with the devil. So it makes absolutely loads of sense why you would bring the devil in to make a deal with Riri at the end. It makes a load of sense.
One thing I liked, again, continuing your about thematically and whatever, because in that episode 6, where Mephisto finally shows up and has to deal with Riri, we are led to believe that Riri sort of overcome some of her trauma or personal issues about needing to do everything by herself and doing these deals, because she's working with her friends and family. She says she's understood. Um, but at the end of the day, she falls back because she wants Natalie back because, well,
Hmm.
jumping a bit ahead, but like Natalie, the AI gets deleted because the suit has magic. We'll get to that a
Hmm.
bit later. But regardless, she doesn't have her anymore. So I think there's still, in an act of sort of desperation, I guess you could say this deal was made. She just falls back on her old habits,
Yeah.
which leads into her character arc as a whole, which I don't think was a hero's origin story, as it were, more just like a tragedy or a downfall of Riri, but we can get to Riri later.
Yeah.
Back to Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. I reckon I could do a deal with him. He looked pretty schmexy.
He's a smashy dude.
Mm,
Um,
I like. He's very nice.
I like you. I like sex. It's nice.
yeah, you went into the Borat voice. Yeah, of course you did.
Best demon.
Uh,
Number two demon in all of Kazakhstan.
well, yeah, in all of Kazakhstan, all of anywhere, he's all of the world. He's number two demon, probably number one
Well,
demon.
maybe
But
he's
yeah,
just maybe he's a regional manager.
maybe,
Maybe
maybe.
there's someone above Mephisto.
Ah, man, like he did a really good job of making a threatening person feel like
A
actually
friend.
threatening. He did that cool villain thing where he's just pretty calm and sinister for the whole time. And what's it gonna cost me? Ah, nothing, you'll miss.
So that's their souls, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the souls, right?
Okay. Because I was like, he said that twice. I'm like, just is no one going to ask a question of like, nah, what is it?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
it's just like
mean,
you won't
that would
meet.
be my
It,
like question. And nothing you'll miss, but yeah, okay. But like, what if I will miss it? You don't know until you tell me. What is
it
it?
because like both Parker and Riri get the same deal, and he's oh, nothing. It's like, dude, you're both relatively smart. Just ask the goddamn question.
But yeah, it was good. He was really good at it. I liked the voice modulation when he gets a little bit more sinister. I liked that you could see his reflection, his actual devil reflection in like the cutlery that one
Mm.
time. That was cool. I am pretty excited about the future of Mephisto arcs. I think that they've said that he might turn up in like a one-off special for some reason. They just haven't announced what it is yet. As long as that's
Like,
not the end of his villain arc, then I'll be fine with that.
I don't think it'd be the end, but this kind of like is my sort of like worry for a lot of these hanging plot threads
Hmm.
because the end of episode six sets up for a sequel or a second season without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
There's so many things they've just left or they just explicitly said we're not done yet, and I think a second season would be enough to sort of like like wrap things up and then you can end it. But I'm not sure if we'll get that, and it might just be thrown into different projects, like maybe like a Young Avengers thing
Mm. Yeah, the Young Avengers seems likely. Yeah,
with Mephi
and
with
there's
Meph
also a couple of different other options as well that you could turn up in. Obvious one would be to say Doomsday, just because
yeah,
Avengers
but it's gonna be too
convergence
bloated.
event. Like,
That's already gonna be bloated as all hell.
yeah, I don't really want that.
Nah,
Maybe there's a couple of other strands as well, which we'll get to later. We've definitely not seen the end of Mephisto. He was not defeated in the slightest. I really enjoyed his appearance. I'm not really up on the comics lore. I know that he's a big ass devil villain from another dimension. He usually goes up against like X-Men and the Silver Surfer and stuff like that. But actually, in any media, that I don't think I've ever seen him before.
same. Like when people would start first saying, "Oh, it's Mephisto," I had to literally Google like, "What is a Mephisto?"
But he does a deal with Riri. So let's go on to Riri's arc.
I liked it because one, it was different, and two, Dominic's performance sold a lot of it. She was able to she conveyed a lot of the like, especially like the panic attack she had in episode four, like just that visceral emotion she was shown. I thought that was really good.
She was great, and she was great at conveying anxiety and just like pain without actually seeing like tears or anything. And that's yeah, that was great. Her panic attacks, which led to a confrontation with Zay in the junkyard.
Yes.
That was like a heartbreaking scene, especially for Natalie as well, because Zane was not into that at
No.
all.
Which fair enough.
Yeah, it was
Like
his sister.
you yeah, you seeing your dead sister come back as a robot AI built by what someone you thought was your one of your closest friends.
They they both want to be more than friends, right? That's not just me thinking that.
No,
There's a
no.
tension there, right?
But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon.
No. I Riri for this like last part of the season had to contend with herself, knowing that she had killed John. Yeah, and I know it was him or her, and he was a bad dude. And other heroes do kill people,
A lot of people.
a lot of people, usually in explosions or as like collateral damage or whatever. But this guy was part of her crew. He was a bad dude. Not saying he's not a bad dude, but part of her crew. Betrayal, absolute betrayal of that crew. She had to deal with that. She didn't deal with it great.
That was one thing that because I remember a lot of the limited talk online was after like what you said like oh Riri killed someone and oh she's a horrible person blah 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 blah. Not that you said a horrible person, say she was a horrible person, but I liked how her reaction to that was the dear God what have I done, not like a brushed off like how in the first Iron Man Tony Stark blows up a bunch of people in the Middle East and he goes like I'm cool, or
Hmm.
Captain America throwing his shield and giving someone immediate brain damage and just like walks off. She sat with the fact of yes, even if it was a mistake, an accident, she did kill someone, and I again her anxiety around wanting to protect everyone because she's like now on paranoid and like sleeping in her suit just because she's. I liked I like seeing one of these heroes
Yeah.
um sort of have that paranoia. I like how it portrays her in the end because she pushes everyone away and doesn't tell everyone the whole picture. Even to the very end, she doesn't really tell everyone the whole picture.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of leads to her making the deal with Mephisto because at the end of the day, she didn't really change enough like on the inside
Yeah.
to make any meaningful growth towards being a hero, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing.
It was good for the show. It was interesting. And obviously, she fucked over Zeke as well, who got arrested because
Yes.
of the second skin that she left behind. He got framed for everything. Poor
I felt
Zeke.
so I felt so bad. I didn't want him to become a villain because I did again I like Alden Ehrenreich and I thought Zeke he was a fun guy to see him get pushed into becoming basically his dad because another Iron person screwed him over. I thought that was interesting.
Let's talk a little bit about Zeke. Zeke,
Got zappy hands now.
he's got zappy hands now. He has become like an enhanced android cyborg, I guess. Like he's got tech inside of his body. Cybernetics. That's probably what you would call
Yeah,
it, right?
a cybernetically augmented person.
Yeah. So Parker gets him out of prison. It was like basically just having to walk out. That was weird, cool, but weird. And then upgrades him to be what he wants to be, which is this cybernetic organism. So he takes down Riri at White Castle after Clown and the Blood Twins fail, but sick fight. Zeke zaps her out the air, rips the whole iron suit off her body, and then doesn't kill her. He ain't a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
He's
But
bad guy, but he isn't bad guy.
yeah, exactly. And then he just wants to walk away.
You know what? That's it. I'm done.
He wants to get in his car and go and just start over somewhere else with his implants. Maybe after fucking up with that woman with the stupid flowers. But
I wanted him to do it so badly.
yeah, I thought of that. Heather sucks. Heather sucks. I'm sure her name was Heather. because it made me think of other Heather in Daredevil.
True. Shock 'em both.
Yeah, shock them both. Parker had his some sort of mind control thing on his cybernetics.
Like admin override because when he
Yeah.
was getting them implants, is it Slug, the hacker person?
Yes.
They changed the remote control thing to Parker instead of Zeke.
Yeah, but I didn't see him like use a remote control. He was just
It was like voice command sort of
okay.
shit. Because like yeah, the when they were doing, you saw he's changed the admin to Park. So I'm assuming they just like had his voice in
Yeah.
the system, and then in the implants with like the neck thing.
Yeah.
Probably just had related to that.
So he helps Parker do what he needs to do. We'll talk about that in a sec. And then he has another fight with Riri, who disables him groinally.
And we'll go out back. I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it a day.
I I like that because like she put him in. She was as she was fine. She come back like, "Hey, I'm gonna kick you in the balls." What? Yeah, yeah. It was gonna reset, but like I like how it still showed that there was still a good part of him down because he went along with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he didn't want to be controlled anymore, but like the way he delivered those lines was like, okay, so you're not a horrible person. You're not like your dad yet, fully. But I did get a chuckle when he got kicked in the balls because I'm a child. Yeah.
It was funny. It was funny. I liked his ending banger line, which was like,
We're
Riri
not
asks
done.
if we're good, and Zeke goes, I've got all this anger and bunch of new powers. I do not know how to channel this anger now I'm this like powerful. Um, we're not done.
Which is where I think a sequel's second season would probably resolve that. But again, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows if we're gonna get that second season?
I doubt it
But
so much.
yeah, I know. Alden,
But
I can write is great.
it was I yeah, I really liked him. I especially liked when they were storming the mansion, and he's like, "Oh, come on, man! Look, I'm really sorry. I'm not meaning to do this." Like just apologizing the entire time as he's like beating the shit out of everyone.
So that brings us on to Parker then. Parker's arc in this one, where he slowly descends into madness.
I wouldn't say slowly descend. I think he just like he's been slowly like going into madness, but then just kind of goes like this.
Oh yeah, he goes off a cliff. Yeah, when cousin
Hmm.
John he dies,
Yeah. John
he's
dies, and then people are just like, "Oh, did you kill this person?" And he's like, "Nah, screw all of you guys, all fired," and then just goes woo and spirals down into just a
yeah.
bit of a manic dude.
I mean, I felt for Clown is the person that I like actually cared about more than the rest of them in that other crew. Like Slug was whatever. The Blood Twins were like, whatever. Clown was the one with a little bit of personality for me.
Mm.
So when, especially, she took the hood herself when, and had a little fashion show earlier on in the season, and it's her that challenges Parker to say, "Hang on, did you kill Rampage, Eric Andre? Did you do that? Did you?" And Parker doesn't really answer, but they all know that he did. So that they're out. They're out now. They're not part of the crew. So, Parker, we find out probably a little bit too quickly that the end game was his dad.
Like they set up a bit at like what as the start of episode three
Hmm.
with like the breaking into the mansion, whatever. But yeah, I agree. This was one of this situation. I'm like, you could have built this up a bit more, or just like expanded on it because yeah, it just kind of yeah came out a bit out of nowhere. Granted, the dad wins a shit dad award because that's a shit dad, but I didn't feel that much attachment or like investment into that. Like Anthony Ramos is like as playing as Parker, loved it. He was great, but I didn't care so much about his emotional through line. Aside
Yeah,
from, damn, dude, that sucks. Your dad, bit of a dick, bit of a
bit of a
dick.
dick. But it
But
also
like,
made Parker be like a rich brat. I know that
yeah,
his dad didn't notice him, whatever. Didn't really like him. He was broken. And just didn't want to deal with him. But he's a rich brat who ran away, basically.
I
Did
think
he?
his dad kicked him out.
Oh, because he was a dick.
I don't know. This is where I wish they would explain more because, like, on one hand, they said you could assume, yes, Rich Brat got kicked out because he was acting up and his dad was a dick. But then he said ever since mum died, so it's
Mm.
because his mother passed away that this happened. So they were both grieving, except the dad was just a bigger dick about it. So it's like, could we go more into that? Could we get the relationship between Parker and both of his parents when they were both alive? But
Yeah.
that's again a limitation of you've only got 6 episodes, and like a quarter of the time is taken up by credits.
I do
Um,
like the dad actor. Like, you know how weird stuff happens when you're watching a few shows at once and they all seem to converge at one time. I've been
mm,
watching Bosch Legacy. Just why not? And he's a really good cop in that show, and he had a really good story arc in that one. So I thought he was going to be in more of it because he's pretty good as an actor, but
mm.
so it's a bit unfortunate that he got like 3 minutes of screen time.
Which yeah, it kind of lessened the impact I think Parker's story had outside of the Mephisto stuff. It was still cool, and the fight he had with Riri at the end was it was an interesting take on like your final big bad fight. However, my biggest issue with that and the Zeke Stain fight is I wish they were a bit longer. Because like the Zeke one, it cuts away halfway through and then comes back to I'm gonna kick you in the balls. And then the Parker one, it's like a bit better. There's a bit more of a tussle. Um, but I just still would have maybe liked a bit more.
Please, sir, I want some more. Now go on, fill up the bowl.
I wasn't a fan of his Morbius CGI
Yeah, that was weird.
face. I know they were trying to come across as like the hood's got him under the its like thrall. He's becoming a demon, basically. But also he didn't have to make him look like Morbius, you know? That gives me PTSD from watching Morbius.
The Jared Leto jump scare.
Yeah. But like it was pretty cool that he was taking ripping the shit out of Riri's new suit. But
Yeah, I thought, wow, we spent 5 episodes to get to a brand new suit and it's gone within 20 minutes.
hmm except it wasn't. She did explode herself, but that was a ruse, and then it
Hologram.
ended up being a ruse, like a hologram. I don't know how she wasn't that damaged from the explosion.
Magic.
Magic.
Magic. Because it is a magic infused suit. I'm glad he's going to come back. Because I do enjoy his character, even just at this point on a surface level. And it seems like he might be doing stuff with Doctor Strange in that world because he goes to meet a new character we were introduced to, Zelma,
Selma
who
Stanton,
has
yes.
who has gone to Carmitage, which is like the Doctor Strange place.
I did a little bit of research. When I say a little bit, I mean like 2 seconds. Zelma Stanton is a character in the Strange Academy, apparently, which is, it feels like Doctor Strange's Hogwarts class.
That sure,
So
Doctor
yeah,
Strange Hogwarts.
trainee magician type people,
Okay,
wizards.
wax on, wax off
Yeah,
wizards.
well, I was going for the portal thing, but then I just did that
Yeah,
instead.
you
Yeah,
just like, meh.
yeah. So yeah, that was my 2 seconds of research. That it could be in
Yeah.
Strange Academy, which is another place where Mephisto could turn up because,
Hmm.
magic.
I think my extensive of coming across a TikTok of her kind of turned me off from research anymore because there was brain maggots and parasites that like were in her brain at some point in the comics. I'm like, that's disgusting. I hate that. No, because
Hmm.
maggots are gross.
I mean, I did quite like Zelma as a character, though. I thought she brought
Oh, she was fun.
something. Yeah, she was. There was a little bit of comedy there, which you got a little bit from Natalie, but there's not been a lot of comedy in Ironheart.
No,
And Zelma's was like magic, and she was like a bit sardonic.
I was like, how when Riri was like, is this going to work? 50% sure. Okay, that's good. Then literally the next time she asks, "Are you sure it's gonna work?" 47.
Yeah. You said 50 before.
Yeah, I liked that. I do like how she brought that bit more of a snarky sort of like it probably leans more into like your typical MCU humor of just like your quippy, snarky character. Um, but I think in a show so far that has been relatively devoid of that, I think that's where it still works,
Yeah.
where it's not every second character throwing out a one-liner. Deadpool Wolverine. Um,
Oh, there's some shade on Deadpool and Wolverine there, mate.
yeah, I'd be down to see more of her. I forgot her the actor's name. You can put it up on screen.
I'll put it up on screen, yeah.
You can
Right.
do that. I think she added something that the show was missing, especially because otherwise it would have just been really down the entire time.
Yeah, not a typical MCU show with like lightness in a lot of and in a lot of ways. There was not a lot of light in this one.
One thing that I wanted to circle back because we talked about is it Zay, the brother, the
Day,
dude?
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm assuming we're going to talk on to Natalie next.
Uh-huh.
And one thing that annoyed me a bit, so like when he first meets Natalie in episode 4, he's like, deplorable. I hate it. I hate you for doing this. This is gross. The next episode, he seems sort of like, oh, I'm not okay with it, but it's okay, I guess. And there was just like no sort of like reflection or talking or going through his thoughts that we can see him like come to terms with it. He just kind of shows up with coffee and is like, hey, look, I don't like it, but I guess it's okay. And that's sort of an issue I have with a lot of this show. Is just especially in these last 4, where a lot of things seem to be resolved like right after another in a quick succession. Like we've already talked about like Parker's daddy issues,
Yeah.
just pops up, whatever. Zay's dealing with Natalie and all that stuff. Riri and her mother,
Hmm.
sort of like, whilst we see a lot more of that, it still just feels like they're just going so fast through all the bullet points to get to like, yes, she now likes her mother again, or she's resolved this thing with her mother. And
I didn't
again, I
see
think
there
it,
was much like to be resolved with her mother. It was more of a resolving her relationship with her stepfather and Natalie
yeah,
and that place where everything went wrong in her life, basically.
yeah, yeah, that's where my brain was going. Yes, I just associate with the mother.
Hmm.
But I felt like it all happened very quickly, and maybe like if you had an episode or two additional, like had an 8 episode series instead of a 6, you could expand on that stuff a bit more to just add some more depth. But it still worked for what it was. I did feel a bit bad for Natalie when
Yeah.
the her brother, not brother, real, just like delete.
Yeah, delete it. Delete it. I don't want to ever see it again. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like it's not real. But it came from Riri and her thoughts. So it is real sort of for Riri.
Mm.
It is an odd scenario because I don't think she would never be able to recreate it as because she tries when she gets deleted and can't do it. It's something to do with what she had, the like MacGyver MacGuffin that she had in her actual house, plus falling asleep at the time whilst thinking about Natalie, created that AI. I don't think you can recreate that
Redo it,
scenario.
which led to, the deal with the devil. Natalie, as a character, I enjoyed her enough in how like she was beginning to bounce off Riri really well.
Mhm.
I will say though, I didn't feel much when she got the big delete.
I just assumed that she would kept come back though. That's not me because I don't think I ever thought that was permanent. I didn't I just didn't think it was going to be permanent, so I just didn't care that much.
I just didn't care that much in general because like I get it, the relationship between her and Riri is building up, but at the end of the day, I was sort of on in Riri's mind of you're just code, she's still technically dead. And I
Mhm.
was assuming, cool, this is gonna have her come to terms with
Yeah.
Natalie's death, which not the case. But yeah, like that's my other issue with this series is like I didn't really feel attached to any one character like on an emotional level. Like there were some emotional moments, like when they're in the garage and you got to see the flashbacks or the progression hologram of Riri's stepdad and everything, and like that was sweet. And then
Hmm.
like the breakdown after, I'm like, cool. I didn't really feel much to it because I wasn't really attached on an emotional level to the characters. Like still invested in the story, but wasn't like it didn't get me like that, if that makes any sort of sense.
I think you're right. I don't really feel anything specific about any of the characters, but as an ensemble, I just liked them. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? I didn't feel for any of them because like Riri as the main character, I had problems with because she was like a criminal and making stupid decisions, even though she's supposed to be the smartest person in the room. But like as an I kind of cared about her relationship with her stepdad. I kind of cared about her relationship with Natalie and Zeke and Parker in a way, but not about her. You get me?
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
I would say in terms of like her being criminal, I think that ties into like how I would see this as like the downfall of Riri Williams this series because like again at the beginning of the show, MIT super smart just came off from helping out the Wakandans.
Hmm.
Then she loses her grant, she's kicked out. Then she has to go back home. Her suit gets broken down. Then in order to try and fix it because that's her trauma that she needs to protect people, she then joins a criminal group. Oh no, it's just for money. It's fine. It's like this. I'm still good. I'm still at whatever. But then she does some jobs and she kills someone. And then it just sort of goes down further and further down. And then the end of this downfall is the deal with Mephisto,
Hmm.
where she's hit pretty much rock bottom, which is different from a lot of shows in general because you normally don't have like your leading character hit rock bottom at the end of a season, especially if you don't know if you're going to get another one.
So Natalie's back as a human.
Hmm.
Mephisto deal seems to have made Natalie come back from the dead, which is crazy to me. But okay, she's back from the dead. This finale is the same sort of thing that we got. It's the same sort of thing we got with WandaVision. Now, let me explain. But at both of the end of those series is the very last scene, not including the end credit scene with Parker and Selma. The main credit, the last scene with Riri, the last scene with Wanda has them finishing the season under the influence of dark magic. They're both left on a cliffhanger, and our heroes are left in trouble.
I think that the big difference is Wanda was still searching for her fake babies,
Hmm.
where Riri seems to have gotten everything and it seems fine, but then like you saw like the dark marks crawling up her arm. So like yeah, again it's one of those things where like I don't want to get my hopes up because I have a feeling like this is going to go unanswered for like 5 years at least.
I mean,
Um,
it could be Young Avengers, I guess. If she joins Young Avengers, that whole arc could be how do we break Riri's deal with the devil?
well, that's the thing I've been thinking like because if you do Young Avengers, because what you'd have Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, Wiccan, like the other one, um, and then Riri,
Wiccan and the other one. Who's the other
his
one?
brother,
Oh,
is
yeah,
Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
don't
what
know.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why he's the other one.
okay.
Um, and then Riri. So
Yes.
maybe I said the plot of if they do a Young Avengers thing is it's just to fight Mephisto because they've set him up or mentioned him enough. Like maybe in the Wiccan series or the Vision series, he comes up a bit
Hmm.
more. Actually, no, not
Maybe.
just the Wiccan one. And then like yeah, on Young Avengers is when they all.
I just can't see how Kate, I mean, it's been a problem in the whole MCU, but I do not see how Kate Bishop can be useful in that scenario.
Yeah, yeah. She gets to go up on a roof and shoot some demons from above.
I guess you give her some like holy arrows. I don't know.
Oh, maybe she feels the leader position
Maybe.
because she's the only one who's had like direct mentorship from a OG Avenger.
OG Avenger, yes.
Yeah,
Like
because like
Kamala's had it from Captain Marvel.
yeah, but it wasn't much. They just kind of went on a jaunt through space. One more thing I'd like to touch on first, before we wrap this up. I really liked the how both suits looked.
Mm.
I think I preferred her first suit, the sort of scrap one, because I don't the CGI on that looked a bit better, especially like when it would open and close. Because the newer one, whilst looking cool and the emotional sort of uh baggage with it of, this was the stepdad's car that tore apart. Um, it kind of was it didn't look as clean, like the CGI for it, if that makes sense.
But the actual suit looked too clean at like the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
suit.
yeah.
And I know that's just the design of the suit, right? But what's with the shoulder things? Like the shoulder things are far too
Are they stabilizers?
protruding. I don't know. Like Tony didn't have it. War Machine doesn't have it. Like it's just I don't know what they're there for. They seem to do some weird things, but like
Hmm.
what do they actually do? There doesn't seem to be a gun or anything off it. It's just they're just there.
Maybe it's just to differentiate stylistically. If all bunch of Iron people are on the screen, you can be like, there she is. Because War Machine has his gun. Iron Man has just, his normal suit. And then you have Ironheart and she has like the weird shoulder
Mm.
thingies.
I did think it was fucking cool. I don't know how it works, but I thought it was cool that it could do magic and did that big blast thing.
That was
With
cool. But I think that's because of the magic-y shit
yeah,
Zelma did.
but so how do we feel about that? How do we feel about a magic infused iron suit?
I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I'm not against it. Depending on how it's used going forward, that might be a big turning point, like a big point for discussion or contention. But as for now, I think it's cool, and it
Yeah,
served its purpose for the final fight. It was like an anti-hood suit.
I feel the same. It's pretty cool. We'll see how old it gets. It's another notch on the belt of Riri's gonna have to get through some weird evil shit in the next time that we see her because you don't steal magic from the dark dimension without any consequences. And people
Mm.
may think that Natalie getting deleted is the only consequence. It
I
is
would doubt.
absolutely not. It's
Nope.
not.
That was a byproduct of putting magic in a suit with an AI. That's that, yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe Riri already sold her soul. So when Mephisto said, "I'm gonna take your soul," she didn't really give him her soul. Maybe that's the workaround.
Music's still a banger. The whole soundtrack was great. I didn't really notice many individual tracks, but as like a whole, I didn't not. I just enjoyed the music selections that we had on offer. I mean, you don't really expect anything else from like a Coogler project, but yeah, it was just really good.
Oh, the title cards.
Hmm.
How like in the first year or the entire series they've done the different uh logos in different uh fonts, I guess,
Hmm.
different styles. And I think that was a cool way how they did the entire time. I didn't like the aesthetic of the last one because it looked kind of gross because it was all like the food. And I'm like,
Oh,
ew, that looks slimy and gross and icky. Blah. But like the White Castle one, where it's just the Ironheart logo, and that was fun. And that's a marketing PR thing that the Americans could do for themselves because like I don't know, you've got White Castle, just make it Marvel themed.
yeah, they need to get away from that Harold and Kumar go to White Castle film that happened a
Hmm.
while ago.
I don't think I ever heard about that.
You've never heard of Harold and Kumar go to White Castle? It's actually
No.
really funny. I
Mm.
really enjoyed it. It's got John Cho in it. It's got NPH in it. Cal Penn, who was part of the Obama administration.
I got nothing.
He's got Nathan Ackerman. It's all basically about these two guys who get the munchies and after smoking some weed, and then go try to get to White Castle, but they can't because, road trip things.
Shut him up or shut him down.
It's really good. Should watch it.
Take your word for it.
Whatever. Well, you should watch is Ironheart, like we did. Or should
Yes.
you? Well, we should probably rate it before we say that. So let's get on to the ratings, shall we? Let's do the ratings.
I'd probably, given everything, taking the actually for these last few episodes, it'd probably be an 8. They really sort of picked things up uh in the back half. I think they stuck the landing well. The inclusions of different characters and the nods to the rest of the MCU are the types I like, where it's just sort of a subtle thing or when it has direct impact instead of just cameo fest. So I liked how they did that with Zeke and or Mephisto and all that fun stuff. As a whole, I'd probably give the series a 7, maybe 8 on a generous day, but stick with a 7 for now because yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first 3, but I like these last 3 episodes. So yeah, the last 3 episodes 8, the series a 7. And I'd probably put it around Hawkeye level of enjoyment for myself, like Hawkeye, maybe Moon Knight. Like it's definitely on the upper end
Mm.
of MCU shows.
Yeah, right there with you. These last 3 episodes were fucking fantastic. I fucking loved them. And I may be in the minority here, but I I really, really enjoyed it. Like as a full series, yeah, you can. The first half was less strong, a lot less strong than the last half. But the last half was so good, it brings up the first half for me. So the last 3 episodes I would give something like an 8.5 or a 9. They were they were just good. They were just really, really good to watch. Which brings the series, I think I gave the first 3 episodes a 6.5 last week. The series comes back to similar levels to you. I give it a 7.5 overall. It does the first ones get elevated by the last 3, which as a scoring, I've done a few of these watching now, and on Marvel, and I think this probably is one of the least overall score rated that I've done. Uh, I think I definitely scored Agatha over it, and I definitely scored Loki over it, and I think I scored Echo over it. But in hindsight, this is just really good, man. Like
Hmm.
as a full story, a full standalone story, which you didn't really need to know anything about anything before going into this story. It was just self-contained, enjoyable stuff. And we got fucking Mephisto, and you didn't. It's not all about Mephisto. It is the full story, and it's consistent. And I'm just interested where we go with Riri from here, who's ended in a way where she's in trouble and she isn't a pure good guy, which is just fucking really interesting for a Marvel show.
I think this is definitely better than Daredevil Born Again
Oh,
by a country
100%.
mile. And
100%.
I think overall, with both this and Thunderbolts giving what I've wanted in Marvel, which is just something different, that's decently good. I am sort of optimistic for the stuff to come. Fantastic Four seems neat, but also just speaking of stuff to come with Marvel, Eyes of Wakanda had its first trailer.
Oh, did
I
it?
did, yeah, but it's the what if art style animation, and I
Mm.
detest that style with a passion.
Oh, no.
I hate it so much. I hate that art style. I don't know if it's just because it just looks stiff, the movements, or just personal preference, but I do not like it whatsoever.
I
Because I
haven't
never
seen the
fit.
trailer yet, so
Yeah, because I couldn't finish What If. So this Ironheart better than What If. I think I got through like 2 episodes of What If, and then I just noped out. I'm like, nah, not for me.
I definitely got through the first 2 seasons, but I couldn't get through the third of
No.
What If. And there was a struggle. It was a struggle, the first two
I had
seasons.
I had to ask myself a question. What if I stopped watching? Which I
Well,
did not say for Ironheart. I
and
looped
you
it.
answered that question for what if I stopped watching because you stopped watching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that was the loop. I brought it back to Ironheart because I didn't
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
myself.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I just
yeah,
spelled it.
Disney.
I just spelled it.
Yeah. It's okay.
So what's next? Fantastic Four. I've got hopes for it. It's going to be
It
different. The art style is different because it's a different universe. I would suspect. There's something about maybe I've got PTSD. Maybe I've got PTSD from the old Fantastic Four films, which
Ben
they
forced it.
have their place in time. You know, they have their Jessica Alba place in time, and they just need to stay there. And the Miles Teller one also has its place in time, which was in a black hole somewhere because that was terrible. Um, and I think I've just got PTSD over that. They've not done a good one yet, really.
Hmm.
And Silver Surfer is a hard character to get right on film because they're so OP. And
I have to take your word for that. I don't know.
I have a little bit of worry that it could be too cheesy for me. But like I've got hope. I've got hope.
Yeah, I think it can go either way, but we just have to see what it comes out in 2, 3 weeks, end of this month.
End of July, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then yeah, the next TV one is Eyes of Wakanda. But then I don't think there's another TV show for Marvel until what, probably Daredevil again.
Okay. Well, that's us. That is the end of watching now Ironheart on Couch Soup. If you like this, do all the good things. Do the follow and subscribe and ring the notification bell because otherwise you won't know when we've got a new video out, I guess. Comment on the video. Still want and see some comments about K-pop Demon Hunters in the comments, please.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, got Demon Hunters Tom over there.
I refrained
Um,
myself this time.
you did. Well done. Congrats. But until next time, thanks very much, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Have you ever tried to scream after you've exhaled all the air in your body? I just because I saw a video and someone did it and they went. It was really
No,
funny.
no, I don't. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I didn't understand what you were saying. Maybe I didn't. It would probably
Anyway,
be a cough, though, I would imagine.
I thought you were just like going like, oh, that's too. And you actually did it. I got nothing.
You got nothing. There was absolutely nothing there, mate. Oh,
Mm.
what a silly thing to have in the outtake on the last episode, eh?
Hey, hey, that's what you have me here for.
hmm
Random bad outtakes.